everybody. Welcome to our favorite time of the week, the Top 5 Live, where we count down the top 5 creative highlights of the past week. I'm Anne-Christine Diaz, creativity editor at Ad Age, joining from Los Angeles.
And I'm Alexandra Jardine, associate creativity editor, joining you from London.
And I'm Ishan Sherwood, associate creativity editor, joining you from New York City. How you doing?
Hey, everybody. So make sure to tell us where you're watching from and give us a shout out in the comments, and we'll give you a shout out back. And special thanks to all of our friends who have been joining us week after week. We're starting to recognize your name, so it's always great to see you. So let's kick it off with Ishan.
Right. So number 5. Let's get started with a little bit of politics. Newman is back. Remember him from Seinfeld? And he's just as grumpy as you remember him. Let's take a look.
The following is a message from your friendly local mail carrier.
Hello, zip codes. And you plus fours, you know who you are. According to this month-old issue of Dr. Roberta Greenberg's Time magazine subscription, there's been a systematic, premeditated assault on the U.S. mail by President Trump and his so-called Postmaster General. That guy's never even licked the stamp. They've had the unmitigated gall to try to slow down the mail, when everybody knows that the only person who can slow down the mail is a mailman. They've shortened working hours, they got missing mailboxes, they're decommissioning sweet sorting machines to try to delay voting by mail. And it's not just your mail-in ballots you gotta worry about. Oh, no. You gotta worry about your grandma's blood pressure medicine, your Social Security checks, military benefits, and millions of Crate and Barrel catalogs that are just piling up. They're not getting delivered anywhere. It's a disaster. When the mail stops, the world stops. Look, I'm not a political person. Last time I voted was for Flavor of the Month at Baskin Robbins. But take it from me, a postman. If you want to vote early in person, do it. You want to vote from home? Apply for your ballot and get it in as soon as possible. My brothers and sisters and I in blue will do our solemn best to make sure your ballot is delivered. As mandated by the U.S. Constitution. Article 1, Section 8, Clause... what the hell clause was it? I can't remember. Hey! You picked the wrong government employees to mess with! All right, Donnie. You know those tax returns? The ones you don't want anyone seeing? You should never have mailed those. Good day.
So this is from an organization called Pacronym, and as the name suggests, it's a political action committee. This is also from Dave Mandel, who, if you remember, was writer on Seinfeld, and then also became the showrunner on Veep. You can see that DNA in this.
Yeah. This one was so enjoyable. I know we were trying to avoid doing so much, featuring so many political ads as, in the run up to the election. But I mean, it's hard to ignore some of this work because it's so good. To take this iconic character who was best known as Seinfeld's biggest enemy and create a new enemy for him, I thought that was super clever. And then just to bring back that role. I mean, he doesn't actually say that he is Newman, but all the details are there. And the Crate and Barrel line, that was
my favorite line in that.
I'm still getting those. I mean, I guess, Alex, you're still getting all your mail, so.
We don't have Crate and Barrel here, but I remember from living in the US.
Oh, the moment where he tears open the package, that had me thinking, I mean, are you really that awesome mailman that you think you are if you're tearing into my package of cookies?
As long as he delivers my ballot, right?
Yeah.
The bar is very low these days.
It's also the second comedy mailman we've seen, right? Because we also had Cliff from Cheers, in a previous ad back in August.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is there a third comedy mailman that we can have in a political ad this year?
Make it a trend.
Yeah.
We've come a long way from the days of going postal. So we have a few other political ads that are not part of the top 5, but we want to talk about a bit. There's some work from, well, it's not from Monster.com, but it looks like it's from Monster.com because it references one of those classic ads, probably the Monster.com ad that you remember. Let's take a look.
When I grow up, I want to be a racist.
Be a self-obsessed narcissist.
Have no empathy. Hire dubious individuals.
Hide my taxes.
I want to mock the disabled.
Be a useful idiot.
When I grow up, I want to be a liar.
Be a fascist.
Pay hush money. Collude with our enemies.
Have no moral compass.
Cheat on my partners. Promote misogyny. Idolize dictators.
When I grow up,
I want to not care about the planet.
I want to be a bully. Lie, lie, lie. Ignore science.
put kids in cages.
When I grow up,
I want to discredit the elections.
Disrespect the troops.
lie, lie, lie.
Kill thousands with my incompetence.
When I grow up, I want to divide the country.
Destroy democracy.
This was created by actually a group of creatives who say they're on both sides of the aisle. And I thought this was really intense. Maybe it's directed at ad nerds, people who would recognize the Monster.com spot. But I thought that was pretty powerful because the original ad was a reminder to basically not settle. You know, when you were a kid and had all these hopes and dreams, you wanted to be something amazing, an astronaut or whatever. So the parallel with this spot, you know, suggesting that maybe the country has settled for something they didn't want. I thought that was pretty powerful. But yeah.
Yeah, and also the idea that you can do better, you know, in your life, and you can do better with your voting choices.
Yeah.
Speaking of settling, there's also an account, a social media account that's been going around that we wrote about that sort of fits in this same wheelhouse. It's called Settle for Biden. And it basically, its entire point is like, it doesn't matter if you like Joe Biden or not, but look at the alternative. You should just, you know, settle for Biden, get past that election hump, and then you can worry about like the differences on the left.
And some of the posts are so funny, like this one that we're looking at right now, unappetizing but still edible. And they have the picture of those sugar cookies that it's like, do I really want a sugar cookie? You know, I'd rather have a chocolate chip cookie, but there's a sugar cookie in front of me and it seems like it'll be okay.
Right, I'm at grandma's house and that's not an option. So I guess sugar cookies it is.
I think there was another one that said, that'll do, or he'll do, with Biden's picture underneath. But it's so amazing how much creativity, at least that we've seen on this side of the line, or at least so much creativity backing Biden. Last week we saw the tie-dye-in for Biden, which is this huge movement that's going throughout the country with people creating these tie-dye shirts for Biden and Harris. But we would love, if we could, to see some messages from the other side as well. So if anyone has them out there, make sure to send it to us, because, you know, it's not like we're trying to play favorites here. We're here to celebrate creativity. So if you have any for Trump, we'd love to check it out.
Yeah, we're in this interesting space right now where, you know, we're sort of covering the same creatives from previous election cycles, but the ones who were working on like John McCain's campaign or Ted Cruz or whomever, a lot of them are now working for the Lincoln Project or, you know, working for like Settle for Biden and things like that. So yeah, so send them our way if they're actually good.
Yes. So before we move on, we have some shout outs. There's Aiden from Sri Lanka, Dave from Michigan, Radhika from India, Andreas from Switzerland, David from Oregon, Elia from Germany, Florence from Canada, and Jess from the Netherlands. Hey, everybody.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Thanks for joining us. So, Alex, you want to?
Yeah, sure.
Our next
So
one?
at number 4 this week, we have a new campaign from Shea Moisture, and it aims to capture the diversity of the brand's Black roots and its female customers. And it's got some really beautiful animation with illustration from a diverse group of artists. It comes from BBDO New York and the Black-owned agency Joy Collective and animation company Buck. Let's take a look.
Our strength, resilience, and versatility is from our history. From all the women who came before you and me, they made us. They taught us so naturally. We feel their strength. We carry their torch. We do it for us, and we do it for them. The natural textures of our hair, the natural brilliance we all share, the heartbeat of our community. Loving the natural in you comes natural to us. Your purchase helps invest in the dreams of Black women entrepreneurs. Shea Moisture, it comes naturally.
That's just a gorgeous ad, don't you think?
Yeah, I could just keep watching that over and over. Every single frame could be, you know, an image you put on your wall. It's just spectacular. It's beautiful. And I just want to give a shout out to the artists that were involved. So they were Bisa Butler, Reina Noriega, Linda Mawala, Rochelle Baker, Alexis Eke. Sorry if I'm butchering your names. Monica Ahanonu. So that was just beautiful. And I hope they continue it with more artwork because it's just gorgeous. And it just shows the power of craft, you know, how it could stand, how it could make a brand really stand out.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that this ad is basically damage control. So Shea Moisture was, you know, years and years ago, Black founded and was for most of its history Black owned. And then in 2017, it was bought up by Unilever. So now the business itself is still Black led. You have a Black woman CEO who is leading the particular brand. But, you know, given, you know, everything that people have been talking about, you know, racial justice over the summer, there has been a push to specifically put money towards organizations that are Black owned. So Shea Moisture was getting some pushback, and they basically put this out to sort of like parade their bona fides, right? To say like, yeah, we were bought by Unilever in 2017. You know what I mean? There's nothing we can do about that, but we're still doing everything that we can in order to make sure that we're serving the community that founded us and that is still continuing to lead the brand.
Yeah, and the spot is highlighting the fact that the brand is also putting profits from their sales to helping to support Black female entrepreneurs. So
yeah, I think it's $100 million.
Yeah, was that the figure? I don't know.
We should have Jack on the show.
Yeah, Jack, where are you? Maybe next week. But we saw some really great spots, some traditional work this week, and our third one is another of those. So this one comes from Bud Light in Wyden and Kennedy, New York. So let's take a look at that.
Hey, can I help you?
This was just so fantastic. I mean, I saw that as it's kind of a message like, yeah, life sucks. We can't go to the stadium. We can't go to the ball game, but let's have fun with it. You know, so these cardboard doppelgangers are this thing that's become a reality for sports fans. Instead of going to the ballpark, people can purchase pictures of themselves or their dog or their loved ones and place them in the seats. So maybe they'll appear at the game. So this idea has a lot of fun with that. And what's remarkable is the performance that the spot gets out of what is essentially this 2D figure. And it was directed by David Shane of O Positive, who we're fans of because he's so great with character, with actors. So it was amazing to see that translated to this piece of paper, basically.
Yeah, it's a sign of a great director, isn't it? If you can get a good performance out of a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to know how many poses they went through to find like the perfect one that's going to work for every single shot in the piece. But it totally does. Like he's got this one frozen face the entire time, but every scenario he's in, it works for it. It's like it was.
Yeah, he's so he's so endearing, that guy. I think he should have his whole new kind of sitcom just for him.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I didn't even think of that. And it was almost kind of like a letdown when you saw the real person. Because he didn't embody all the character of the cardboard guy, right?
That was a bit of a being John Malkovich moment. It's like a bit meta when he meets him.
It's how he looks on Tinder and how he looks in real life.
But Max, our producer, he made a good point too. It's kind of like a Pixar film too. Just the charm of it, and also as we were watching it again, the music played such a huge role. I think it really added to the story and to its charm. So yeah, I love this. It was
the only thing I thought it missed was I was fully expecting at some point there to be like a voiceover, just being like, "Here's to you, Mr. Cardboard Cutout Fan," and like "Real Man of Genius" or something like that in there. You know, just like, tied to the old stuff.
Cardboard, here's genius. Anyway, we have some shout outs. Ishan, you want to read those out?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. All right. We've got Carmen from Pennsylvania, Kay from California, Roman from Mexico, Jan from Italy, Michael from Canada, Vic from the Philippines, Trish from New Jersey, and Sandil from Namibia. Hey. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Namibia.
How you doing? All right. So moving on to number 2. This is a really like heart-wrenching, heartwarming, kind of both together spot from Volvo that takes the criticism that seatbelts first got when Volvo introduced them, like in the news, and compares them to the reactions of people whose lives were saved in crashes because of seatbelts. So let's take a look.
The seatbelt is a violation of human rights.
It's better to be thrown out than to be trapped inside.
没人能对我的生活指手画脚。
This is very upsetting.
Wearing a seatbelt is a terrible idea.
Serious restriction of freedom. Mate, it's a terrible, terrible idea.
The New York Times reports it's a violation of human rights.
Who would ever want to wear this?
A public health report says it's ineffective, inconvenient, and uncomfortable.
It was just a normal morning. It was calm on the road, there was no traffic at all.
Och vi glider ungefär 70 meter innan vi smäller in i den första bilen.
The only thing I can hear is the...
In the beginning, we didn't know what happened actually.
It was just a lot of shock, panic.
And then just silence.
First thing that crossed my mind was my son, my 2-year-old son.
当时地上有碎的玻璃，还有我朋友的这个。
Så jag kollar bredvid på min bror. Ser att han är medvetslös.
如果我没有系安全带，我想我也会死去。
For me, it saved my life.
That wasn't the day to die.
Basically, it was not going to be that day.
So this is from Forsman and Bodenfors, and it gives me, I don't know, I guess it gives me chills, and I don't say that about a lot of ads. I think anybody who's been in a car accident can look at these stories and relate to them. Like, I've been in an accident. There are 3 of us in the car, and we were all wearing seatbelts. And in the emergency room, doctors absolutely said if you had not been wearing seatbelts, you would be dead. So, the context of this ad coming out at this point is, I think, pretty obvious. Like, the hyperbole that we see about masks right now is not new or unique. It's the same kind of hyperbole, like, oh, this restriction on freedom, a violation of human rights for like seatbelts, which we take for granted these days.
Yeah,
I thought it was a really interesting comparison.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. Just to see, how attitudes have changed. I mean, to think that somebody thought wearing a seatbelt was a violation of human rights is just seems kind of nuts now. But yeah, when you look at what's being said about other public safety measures, makes you wonder what we're going to be saying in 20 years' time when we look back at the attitudes to mask wearing.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't have to be wearing masks all the time, though.
No.
But it's amazing that even the New York Times was one of those critics against seatbelts, and that was powerful for Volvo to bring that up in the film. And this was a way for Volvo to, further showcase its safety initiatives, that now it's going to be looking into putting cameras in cars to, determine if the drivers are intoxicated, or I think they have a new feature. I think it says in the spot that they're limiting speed limits on all its new cars, which is amazing. And this is not the first from Volvo to do this. It's a long line of ads and campaigns where the brand is showcasing how it's going to keep consumers safe. And it's kind of remarkable too, because Volvo builds its brand on safety. So to keep hammering home this idea in these really incredible ways, I think it's so powerful. And
yeah, it's a good call for them, because they've always been known as, a really safe car, but maybe in the marketing they've kind of gone away from that a little bit over the last few years, but now they've come back to it, and at a really appropriate time.
Yeah, with Forsman and Bodenfors in particular, like they had, for example, that campaign where women could compare the size of their hands to the size of a hand of a crash test dummy, for example, to showcase how Volvo is looking into keeping all kinds of passengers safe. So it's pretty brilliant.
Yeah,
so
I think it's really smart to be like, you buy our cars for like the passive safety features, but we've got a lot of active ones now too. And if you're thinking about, should I spend more money for this? Like, put it in the context of, paying extra for a seatbelt or something like that.
Yep. Cool. So someone's at the door.
Who can that be?
Someone's visiting the Creativity Playhouse.
Hey guys.
Oh my God. What a surprise.
Jessica, why don't you tell us about what you're wearing?
Do you like my new accessory?
But what is it exactly?
This is something that I got in the mail. It is the Hormel Black Label Bacon Mask. It smells like bacon in here, let me tell you. And yeah, Hormel brought this out this week as a way to hop on the mask craze, but also give people something to win. Take a look.
Wait, so Jessica, you have to tell us about the experience of wearing the mask. Was it like? Is it bacon? Is it like the bacon you smell when you walk into the kitchen?
There's a lot going on right now. It's sort of the smell of the smokiness of the bacon, maybe more than the meat itself. But it definitely smells. There's a scent, and it's not going away.
Does it make you feel hungry?
I'm definitely hungry.
Really?
Although I will say right now in my mask, it's actually a nice combination because I had some pumpkin spice creamer in my coffee this morning, and then I put this on. So there's a nice savory and sweet thing going on. I haven't washed it yet, so I'm not really sure if the scent is going to stay, but there's some technology in here, so we'll see. I don't know. But people can go and try to win one of these, and if you enter, there's a donation to Feeding America as part of this campaign. So you could feel good about trying to win a mask that smells like bacon. I definitely have friends who are a little bit jealous of me when I showed them a picture of me with this on my face. So yeah, that's what's going on with innovation in bacon.
Johnny Walker, please make a Johnny Walker black mask.
Well, and also I wanted to show you the packaging because I think the packaging is pretty brilliant. It came in this bag that looks like a bacon package and it's resealable. So I don't have to smell it after I take it off my face. I can put it back in here. It's pretty remarkable.
Well, maybe the bag means it doesn't lose its smell as well.
Yeah.
I'll have to check. Spreading all kinds of germs back into the bag, though. I don't think that's very COVID safe.
I feel like that could be an opportunity for other brands, like air freshener brands. One of our readers mentioned a perfume brand.
Right.
Yeah, and other food brands as well. I mean, didn't we see KFC nail polish a few years ago, and we've had all kinds of brands doing scented candles.
Yeah. All our friends out there, tell us what you would like to smell in your mask, and hopefully we can talk about that in a little bit, or maybe next week.
Yeah, personally, I don't really want to smell anything in my mask. I even hate the smell, like when it's been in your bag and it's a bit stale there.
Yeah.
No,
I don't even like it when it just comes out of the wash. Like it's if the detergent hit it too much, then it's too strong. Like you have to let them air out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid to wash this one with my other clothes. I think I might need to hand wash it separately. It did not say to do that, but I might need to just to keep my clothes from smelling like bacon, or people in my house are going to be hungry all day. So
maybe you're excited to wash it with your other clothes.
I don't think so.
Anyway,
I'll send it to you, Ishan, and you can wash it with your clothes. How about that?
It's an excellent idea. I will definitely do that. Or I could just pour liquid smoke in the detergent section. I'll DIY it. It's fine.
Detergent companies, if you're watching, you should make some liquid smoke scented.
So Jessica, there was also some other news this week. Could you fill us in, because I think you're the expert.
Never a dull moment in food. You guys know that. You all know that. So last week, I can't believe it was just a week ago, we wrote about a Send Nudes campaign from Kraft Macaroni and Cheese, asking adults to enter to try to send nudes, NOODS, to their family and friends. And the internet did what the internet does. And the internet moms apparently were not pleased with a very family-focused brand doing a play on words on sending nudes. And poof, the campaign disappeared. About a week after it debuted, Kraft pulled all the creative down from social media.
Yeah, so what did you think of that? Because when I first saw that campaign, I'm a mom and I wasn't offended. It didn't strike me.
I wasn't offended, but I did think about it when Jessica was first talking about it. I did kind of go, isn't that a bit kind of dodgy for a very family friendly brand to talk about sending lewd texts?
Well, it was interesting because Kraft has done a lot during the pandemic that was humorous and family friendly. So there was a thing to try to make Kraft Macaroni and Cheese a breakfast dish a little while ago that you might remember. There was the pumpkin spice Kraft Macaroni and Cheese idea, which I know we talked about. So it was an interesting shift in trying to make it a little bit more adult. And I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was that racy. I thought it was funny. I didn't have any kids coming up to me and asking me what it meant. So maybe people did. But if they
did some outdoor ads, didn't they?
I'm sorry?
They did some outdoor ads as well. It wasn't just on the internet.
They did some outdoor ads, but who's going out right now in a car with their kids to see them? I don't know. The outdoor ads were apparently in Chicago. I didn't come across any, but I haven't been downtown in a while, so maybe they were out there. I thought that the video was fun. I mean, Vanessa Bayer, who's used to be on Saturday Night Live, explains the difference between nudes, and it was funny. It was the kind of thing that maybe you would share with a girlfriend or something like that. I don't think it's the kind of ad that you were going to be showing to a kid. And it wasn't airing on TV or anything. So I'm not sure. I think it got attention, and that's always a plus for a brand, right?
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like it is targeted toward an older demographic. So, like, do you know anything about who the actual target is? It still moms, or is it a broader target? Like, is there?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because especially during the pandemic, people who have been home and making more meals for themselves than they normally would are looking for quick meal solutions, as the industry would say. And there's pretty much nothing faster than making a box of macaroni and cheese. So, or even a cup of microwavable macaroni and cheese, which is even faster. So definitely skews to all age groups. I don't think that Kraft necessarily made the right move with this brand being the one to get a little bit racy. It does have that Devour brand, which is very racy on purpose, but that's a target audience of a guy in his 20s and 30s. So it was an interesting choice. Mischief at No Fixed Address is the agency behind the campaign. They didn't comment on when it got pulled, but Kraft put out a statement and said basically, thanks, internet, for the feedback.
Yeah. And I checked the protest page because I think there was, a petition that got started. And when you reported it, you said there were about 500 signatures, and that was early on in the week. So I checked back on the page, and it was still at 500 signatures. So I don't know.
The timing of it was strange because National Noodle Day, which is what this whole thing started with, was October 6th, I think. And the campaign itself, the giveaway was only running for a few days. So once the giveaway expired, they could have just turned off the media, and that would have been one thing. But the fact that they pulled it, it's not on their YouTube page, it disappeared from the Instagram page and things like that. That's what made it a little bit fishy.
Huh.
So
once you start having a scandal like that, though, I think sometimes you just need to pull the plug.
Well, and in the long run, I think brands like Kraft Macaroni and Cheese want to protect their long-term target audience. And in that case, it would definitely be parents who are looking for a quick meal to give their kids. There were some protesters who said, oh, well, I guess I'll buy Annie's now, right? Which is a competitive brand. I still think people should go out and buy the Flamin' Hot Cheetos mac and cheese.
Is that still on the shelves?
Yes.
Okay. So wait, okay, sorry. This is turning into a food show.
Yeah, but talking of marketing to moms, we had another one this week that we wanted to quickly talk about, which was from Kristen Bell, who has a CBD skincare brand called Happy Dance. And should we take a look at that ad there?
Yep.
What does Happy Dance feel like? Well, it feels like having the strength to watch the same kids' movie 17 more times this week. It's a metaphor. It melts away all memories of crossing the playroom barefoot. Ouch. It's the rich, luxurious feeling of having successfully kept another person alive for 4 years, 3 months, and 26 days.
Mom, can we get a tiger?
No! Make that 27 days.
I just love this one because it was so out there but real at the same time. You know, Kristen Bell's brand, I just love it. She's this balance of light and dark and real all at once, and you see this in this product. And the fact that she's digging at this whole phenomenon that she herself created with Frozen, you know, that reference to that movie that you have to watch over and over again. She's clearly talking about Frozen and Frozen 2. So I thought that was hilarious. And that was created out of Wieden and Kennedy, and directed by J.J. Adler. So that was just a fun parental moment, I thought, for this week.
Definitely.
The only thing I didn't like, and maybe it's just because we're writers, I was like, is that a metaphor? I don't think it's a metaphor. I'm pretty sure that's just an oblique reference. So
The analysis of the CBD skincare advertising.
Deep dives. That's what everyone's here for.
I was impressed that she didn't fall down the stairs at the end. I was expecting her to trip. Like that's what would have happened to a normal parent walking backwards up the stairs.
It's very on brand for her too. She's just like fall down.
Yeah.
A pratfall would have been great.
Wait, but Jessica, sorry, you mentioned you mentioned the Cheetos mac and cheese. So how did that taste?
Oh, getting back to food. It
Yeah,
always
sorry.
comes back to food. The Cheetos mac and cheese, I was a fan. They're different flavors, and I would recommend the Flamin' Hot because go big or go home. Like if you're going to have macaroni and cheese named after Cheetos, go for the Flamin' Hot. The color is not something you will find in nature, but I liked it. Had a nice little kick.
All right, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, send nudes. Like you're never going to convince me that like Kraft Dinner's actual target audience is just broke college students. Really? Okay, so
Yeah.
Which is what it is, right?
Right. Which is why I was a little confused that like the nudes thing didn't end up panning out, because I was like, oh yeah, they'll get that. That's been a meme for a while. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that was one of the things that I was surprised about because there wasn't a backlash to the send nudes meme being a play on Asian foodie noodle culture, which has been using that term for a while. So it was a surprise maybe it wasn't a surprise to see the internet Karens get against it, but it was sort of a surprise not to see more people. I don't know.
I guess, well, with the meme, that's probably not associated with a specific big brand. You know, I feel like anytime something's tied to a big brand, it's under the microscope, the social media microscope. Anyway, so moving on from the food news and the CBD news, we have coming up soon, Black Friday. If you recall, a couple years ago, REI made the whole world take notice when it just said, forget Black Friday, opt outside. We're closing our stores. We're telling our employees to go take a break, and you should too, instead of, you know, going to the mall and braving the hordes. So following in the footsteps of that, IKEA has debuted its own initiative this year called Buy Back Friday, where it's asking consumers to put the IKEA products they no longer want on sale through IKEA. So let's take a look at that video. So this idea was out of Edelman, UK, and customers can register all their old IKEA stuff online. IKEA will give them vouchers for discounts to new IKEA furniture, and all the old furniture will go to special sections in IKEA stores where shoppers can check them out and possibly buy them. So I thought that this was a nice way of further pushing sustainability. IKEA has been big on doing that recently, especially in the UK. My one question, though, is how much IKEA stuff will live a second life? Because a lot of stuff I've gotten doesn't last very long.
I think it can last. I think the question is, I think as someone just commented, when you put it in the car and move it around, it may not last.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, we have Billy bookcases in my house, which have moved around rooms and moved from us to kids and back. But I think if you try and put it in the back of the car and take it to your kid's college dorm or something, you may not find that it lasts quite so long.
Yeah,
I think it's telling that in the ad, all of the moving is done with like multiple people and like gently placed inside a car. When like, how do you move IKEA stuff? You like grab the top and drag it, up the stairs and down the stairs because like it's IKEA.
How many new bookcases were used to film a commercial about old bookcases? Right?
It is still a nice idea, though, to kind of redirect our thinking from Black Friday, especially in a weird year. So, like, I don't even know if that Black Friday rush will exist,
right?
For
Plus,
2020.
You're at home more, and you're taking a closer look at your decor. I think everyone's probably thought about painting or thought about rearranging furniture or something like that this year. So why not take advantage of that trend too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's tapping into that whole thing of, have we reached peak stuff as well? How many more things do you need? But if you can trade it in for something a little bit different, then that's a way to get around that.
Yeah.
Just don't let Apple hear you.
Well, that's it for this week. If you guys want to check out all the work again in full, go to adage.com and find the top 5 story there. And thank you, Jessica, for joining us with your mask and looking like Venom or Bane or one of those Tom Hardy characters that we love. And everyone, make sure to tune into adage.com/creativity for more of the best in brand creativity. And we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.